Good afternoon. It's Wednesday, July 22nd, 2015, and it is 4:40 in the afternoon. This is a meeting of the Law and Ordinance Committee. My name is John Schweizer, Chair. To my right is Ms. Lynn Snee, and we are here for a recommendation to Council regarding Taste of Troy and the consumption of alcoholic beverages downtown. Mr. Titterington, will you?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Catherine Hayes and Will Harrelson of the Main Street are here. As this was their request, they came to us, us being the mayor and me, asking for some consideration to change the Taste of Troy event this year as opposed to the last several years. For those of you who have attended in the past, for the last few years, couple of years at least, they have confined the Taste of Troy event to the northwest quadrant here. This year they are asking for a couple of things. They're asking us to close this portion of Main Street, kind of similar to what we did in 2012 with the Strawberry Festival, when we blocked off only this part because the bridge was closed. And I say that because we will want to feather this. This is barricades that we will want to feather so that we keep the circle open, as well as circulation in the other three quadrant parking lots. The mayor and I met with Catherine and Will with the understanding that after that meeting, with this general configuration, it was a little different because then we had a staff meeting with the chiefs, engineering, and our special events crew, and so there were some modifications here. But the main points to bring up, to highlight, are that we would continue to have the stage here, the mobile restroom facility here. North Cherry would be blocked off for vendor parking and any other storage, I guess, that we would need in this area. The farmers market, this event would be from 11 a.m. to 4 o'clock. The farmers market would have extended hours and would close at 2 o'clock that day. We would have, we don't have a booth here. Maybe we're not doing a ticket booth up here anymore, but we have a ticket booth and then an alcohol checkpoint, if you will, where they would sell drink tickets. You'd also have to show your ID, and if you're 21 or over, you get a wristband. Only if you have that wristband can you get into this fenced off area here, which would be the beer garden. The beer garden would be restricted to sales of beer and wine only. There will be a 2 or 3 drink limit, I think, at one time. There will be one controlled entrance/exit right here. There will, of course, be seating and probably some shade tents or tent or something there. All of this would be fenced off with snow fencing. It would be contained to the parking lot, the asphalt area. Troy Main Street would be responsible for applying and coordinating and just being accountable for an F2 temporary alcohol permit. This would be patron seating that families, anybody who doesn't want to be in the beer garden or is restricted from being in the beer garden, that would be additional seating for viewing the concert or the bands that are playing, the entertainment, if you will. What we are asking for, because this is unique, it's a different approach that similar to what we've done in the past with Gentlemen of the Road and with recent Troy Strawberry Festival event, that because we're using the right-of-way, because there are some unique circumstances here, that, number one, and it's either would it be one or two pieces of legislation, that would be up to Mr. Livingston, but authorization for me to sign an agreement that lays out all the responsibilities and the duties of both parties, similar to the Strawberry Festival contract, but a little more condensed, including payment of some overtime, which in this event will be minor. Really all we've identified that we will need pending some final investigation by Troy Main Street about safety services, but we don't believe that any additional overtime, police or fire, are needed. We've historically had some electrician support there, so this is not going to change that. The only additional cost that we see at this point is related to the street, a couple of street people, street division employees, I should say, to relocate the barricades, some of which will be the water-filled barricades, so we'll need to fill and drain those before and after the event. The orange lines are the barricade areas. Troy Main Street either has or will be contacting the county. I believe there's been some verbal discussions, but just to make sure that they are okay with how we've got this laid out, since that is the safety building that's just outside of the road closing. We anticipate that we'll close the road no later than 7 a.m. on Saturday morning, probably overnight sometime after things die down over third shift. We will have notifications of the TMS will notify the property owners within the venue. They will place the no parking placards the day before, and we will open up as soon as we possibly can on Saturday evening. Catherine has talked to the two businesses adjacent to Browdy Plaza, the restaurant, and the financial office that is there, Edward Jones' office. And I think that is it. Again, Catherine and Will are in the audience if you have any follow-up questions, detailed questions, but at this point we are asking for this as an emergency. The event is to be held September 19th, and so there's a lot of marketing and a lot of final logistics to be done. So just as soon as we can get authorization, the better.
Okay. And what was Mr. Anticoli, Ms. Hayes, what was Mr. Anticoli's response when you talked to him about closing off? I know that when they had the Strawberry Festival, there was some challenges with Caroline and La Piazza, thank you, because they were having weddings, and I think there was some challenges as far as handicap access and things like that.
Sure, all of the access is going to be maintained to La Piazza, and as far as I know, they are not actually open during the hours of Taste of Troy. If they were to open, it would be specifically for Taste of Troy to participate as a vendor, so he did not have any issues with it. We will need to check with some of the other ones, similarly like the Strawberry Festival does about their deliveries, specifically the Home Comfort Gallery. We know that they will potentially have furniture moving in and out of there, but we would just make special accommodations and make sure that somebody's there to let their trucks in and out. But he had no issues regarding the closing of that quadrant. He was actually in support of it. So. Okay,
good. How will this be policed then? I mean, how will it be manned and policed? Not necessarily by
Troy Main Street will be supplying volunteers from their board and I guess membership. We will be available, during that day. Both fire and police, their staffs will be briefed on this, but we will not have specific special patrols out there. Neither chief felt that was necessary.
Okay. And will there be radios between the Troy Main Street staff at the beer garden and Troy Police? Oh, and you know,
Yeah,
you don't know if
we-
anybody's
I don't know,
going to
we
really
normally
get.
do that. I mean, they'll any calls that we get, we want them to go through 911 anyway to be logged and properly dispatched. So having radios there, you know,
Okay.
we may work something out with whoever the on-duty sergeant is, but beyond that, I don't see anything else special needed.
Okay. When would the downtown be closed?
So it will be closed at 7 a.m. To put up no parking signs. We'll probably put up no parking signs on actually that Friday evening, saying no parking after 7 a.m. Barricades, it looks like, are going to go up about 7 a.m. Actually, we as volunteers begin arriving about 7:30 to begin our process of the setup.
Okay. And is an F2 permit, is that just a temporary permit?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe that's the same permit that we use for GOTR.
Is it? And will there be I mean, for a parent that wishes to go into the beer garden, is there someplace for kids to go?
There will, nobody under the age of 21 would be allowed to go into the beer garden. So if there's an adult with children, then they either, I guess, leave
Don't
them
go
right
in.
outside the fence, or they just, I mean, I don't want to advocate for any kind of child delinquency, but they would just have to make a choice whether they want to go in or they want to bring their family.
Okay.
I suppose that's the best way to put it.
Ms. Snee, you have any questions?
I just wanted to confirm, I believe I read this, that once you're inside that barricaded area, you can purchase beer and wine, but that's not allowed to leave that barricaded area either.
Correct.
Okay.
More specifically, not just the barricaded area, in the beer garden area,
That's what I
which is in
meant.
the snow fence.
Right, inside the snow fence.
Right.
And
that will be controlled by volunteers at that point right there.
Okay.
The rest of this will all be snow fence that will be affixed but right up against La Piazza's outdoor railing there.
The patio, yeah.
Yeah, the patio. And Mr. Anticles has been approached, and he's okay with that as well.
And the patron seating that's there on Prouty Plaza, is that seating
Open to
at
everyone.
tables, not just rows of seating like for a concert?
Right,
It's
right.
tables
It'll
and
be
chairs.
tables and all that
Okay.
kind of stuff, so that you can actually, put your food on there and not have to keep it in your lap.
Okay. And will you be able to see the stage from the beer garden?
Yes.
Okay.
So that was part of the reasoning and the placement, was we wanted them to be able to enjoy entertainment too.
Okay. And then this is just a curiosity question. With everything down here around Prouty Plaza where I see the restaurant booths and everything, why is the venue extended down to the next?
Okay, well, we originally, in earlier discussions, the idea was to spread these booths up and down.
Okay.
However, we do not have electric and water utility hookups beyond Cherry Street.
Okay.
Okay, we do not want to close it right here. We want to give adequate ability for people who come down to be able to get out that way and not get trapped. And since this is closed for the farmer's market, closing it here makes no sense.
Okay.
And so we just, we drew the line
So more for
here,
the
like we did.
vehicular.
Well,
Yeah,
I will add, in conversation, I know Doug Wenning has said that there are actually, if you look at where we have the booths, this is kind of all just drawn to our imagination, but there are actually, I think, 13 booth space in that first section of the West Main Street quadrant. We might have put more on there, but to date we have 16 verbal commitments to participate in the Taste of Troy from restaurants. So if only 13 can be in that first quadrant, we'll kind of have to spread some of the other ones out, which that gives us a little bit extra room to play with as we get our commitments from the restaurants, that we have a little extra room to play with and we're not just like cap it at 12 and you're done.
Yeah, we did not tell them that they have to have all their booths here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this is just because of the utility issue. So if there are non-utility needing booths here, there's no reason that they can't spread them
Be
out.
down a little further. And can you tell us one more time the overlap between the farmer's market? Because I think I heard 2 o'clock and I'm seeing 12 o'clock. When is it actually closing that day?
So yes, the farmer's market is open from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And
On that
then,
day, okay.
yes, the Taste of Troy will be open 11 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay.
Oh, it says 12, you're right.
Right, when you had said 2, I just wanted to
I
make
changed
sure
that,
there
I
was a
think.
little bit more.
Yeah,
Overlap.
it should be 2 p.m.
Okay.
So I think I've updated that on
That's
our most
fine.
recent version.
All right, no, I have no further questions.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, do you have any comments or?
We've had a lot of discussion. Everything, I think I feel very comfortable with their plan, their layout, the execution. And, we did discuss things, and I feel comfortable.
Madam President?
No questions?
Any members of council, any questions? Anybody in the audience have any comments? And we're looking at emergency legislation, 2 pieces? Did I hear that?
Possibly 2 pieces, at least 1, if not 2, and we may need a resolution on the authorizing the signing, and then an ordinance on the notwithstanding agreement that you've done in the past for GOTR and
Right.
and Troy Strawberry Festival.
Okay. Your pleasure?
Move forward as emergency.
Let's move forward with emergency legislation. Anything else come before law and ordinance?
No, sir.